Hello, friends. Welcome to this channel, Center of Excellence Pharma 4. In this episode, I'm going to discuss about how to develop a holistic digital transformation team, mainly for the pharma industry. Before getting into the details, let me give you a brief about our company and services what we offer it. We have developed a concept, Center of Excellence Pharma 4, about 5 years back. Dr. Jayan Joshi has designed this concept within keeping in mind about various emerging technologies like cloud, artificial intelligence, machine learning, IoT, blockchain, robotics, chatbot, how all these technologies are coming up and how these technologies can help pharma industry to solve their problems, help them in their challenges, and can achieve operational and business excellence. Keeping this objective in mind, we have designed our website respa.com. You will find a lot of information over there. A smart manufacturing in pharma course with about 20 modules has been designed and is hosted onto Udemy platform. Please have a look at that. I am quite sure it will be very helpful for your corporate as well as your personal career. YouTube channel was launched about 5 years back and it covers starting from business strategies and going up to the systems validation and audits. This has got about 350 videos. Please have a look at them also. Do subscribe, share with your network. Podcast channel which you are listening right now has got more than 75 podcasts, which is focused mainly onto the recent developments into the market, either related to technology or business challenges for the pharma industry. We also have a book series, Center of Excellence Pharma 4, which is there onto Amazon platform, and you will have books available onto Kindle as well as paperback. Right now there are 7 books are there. Please have a look at them and share your comments. So let's get it into the agenda. My agenda today is brief introduction. What is the core role of teams for the digital transformation? It's basically business and technology license, which is really important. And what are the technologies contribution which is coming up and all? What are the strategic pillars for the team success? We should really look for the cross-functional collaboration, hybrid skill development, agile governance. Then the challenge is in the implementation framework, talent acquisition and upskilling, assessment and vision setting, challenges and mitigation, and conclusion. So let's start with the introduction. These various emerging technologies which we are discussing it requires an integration, and this integration is a big challenge. You require a expertise into those. So you have to have a strategy expertise which are really going to work on a long-term vision. When we start thinking about digital transformation, that is moving old analog systems to the digital system, which is a complete end-to-end integration, where we are talking about a digital supply chain management, which is integrating demand planning, supply planning, operation planning, and everything. And this is not a small project. It's going to take maybe 3 years or 5 years and all. So you should have a team which will have that long term vision and also a strategic expertise. That means which are those functions, which are those areas which you want to move, how they are going to get integrated, what are the roles of the technology, what is the contribution of the teams, and how you will phase it out, how you will move, and how you will achieve. All those things requires to be tracked it out. And this is where you have to have a strategic expertise, which is most important thing. That is where I put it as a first factor. Now, along with that strategy, you have to think about the technology expertise also. As I was mentioning, there are various technologies, and each technology has got its own strengths, but it has got its own limitations also. Only cloud cannot work, only AI cannot work, only IoT cannot work. They have to really work in a synchronization, in an integration to achieve those excellence and all. And finally, I'm looking and considering it for the operational expertise, how it is going to get implemented practically, whether it is again I mentioned it earlier with the demand planning. When you talk about the demand, you have to think about the demand forecast. You have to require the market requirements and all that, and how that is going to get integrated into your sales and operation planning and procurement planning and all. So where you also have a different experts available into those areas, and they have to also work in a coordination so that that practical implementation will take place. So the next step is cross-functional collaboration. As I was briefing you, that demand planning is separate thing, procurement planning is separate thing, operational planning is separate thing. So these are the cross-functional teams which have to really work in collaboration. So encouraging teamwork across the department is most important thing. Sharing the knowledge and the resources is they require. And then when you're talking about these things, since we are focusing on to pharma vertical, we want to achieve pharma 4, you have to also think how these things are going to add it to the industry's best practices. As you are aware, pharma industry is governed mainly by the regulatory requirements, regulatory documentation, that all. So you have to adopt to the previous strategies which are really designed onto that. So learning from the successful case studies is most important thing. Now business technology liaison is really required, which is where you can bridge up the gaps between the information technology and operational technology, IT and OT, or when we are talking about it, is the various business units. You have to think about demand planning as a business unit, procurement is a business unit, you have to operations is a business unit, and how all those things are going to get integrated, how you will bridge up those gaps about the data sharing, data integrity, everything has to be thought about it. And this has to get aligned with the digital initiatives, whether it's a clinical trials or whether business operations or it's a manufacturing system or logistic and distribution system. Everything has got its own departmental operational goals and all, how those things will get integrated and all. Now moving to the technology part, as I mentioned earlier, there are various technologies that are there, and then you have a different experts, different specialists who are there having their expertise into cloud, artificial intelligence, IoT, blockchains, and all that. So some examples are there, like Pfizer has worked it out onto AI-driven clinical trial. The next example is that Sanofi has shifted to the batch manufacturing record. So various technologies will help you to solve or improve the capacity, the operational excellence for that particular departments and all. So you have to select, adopt all that, implement it that, and then get integrated and all. And this is what is really going to help you to achieve your process optimization. So you have to really work technology along with the process optimization experts and all that, and that will achieve you for the operational and business sector. At the same time, you have to also keep it in mind the compliances and the security requirement. As you know, pharma industry has got a 21 CFR Part 11 specific. So there are FDA requirements, GDPR standards are there. So you have to keep those also in mind while designing, developing, implementing this particular system. And then your data scientist and analyst are going to help you to do that analytics and help with the pinpointing the data driven decision making for the managers or the decision making people. And then the change management is also required because you are shifting from old analog systems to the new digital systems and all, for which you require the implementation manager also. So I mentioned about that cross-functional collaborations where, as you know, you may be having research and development department, your manufacturing department, quality assurance department, supply chain department, and all. So every department will have its own goals and all that, which you have to convert it into digital goals from looking at it, what business outcomes are expected and all. And this is where what technologies will help in that collaboration. You have to think about it and then start coordinating between the, again I mentioned earlier, IT and OT, that is information technology and operation technologies to achieve your goals and excellence and all. So this is where it comes as a hybrid skills development. As you know, when we are working onto the analog systems, we were working on to different types of skills which are there. Now, when you are moving, you have to develop a digital skills. While developing those digital skills, you have to also keep that in mind about the regulatory compliances. You have to also learn about artificial intelligence, machine learning, data analytics, and all that. Now, your company, your team may or may not have certain skills or something like that. But you have to partner with the external experts who have those particular skills. Now, presently, there's not a single company which may have all those skills or something, even in the technology point of view also. So you have to partner with a different technology vendor. Like you may have a cloud vendor, you may have a AI vendor, you may have a IoT vendor, you may have a blockchain vendors and all that. And this is where you have to take their niche expertise and then go on integrating, build up that partnerships for the achieving the digital maturity around that. To achieve all that, you should have a flexible governance plan. No, you have to do this, as I mentioned earlier, the phase-wise roadmaps you have to draw. So you have to start with a pilot project. No, it may be into manufacturing, it may be in procurement, it may be into demand forecasting or something like that, and scale up that particular uh, pilot project to the next departments or integrate with other modules or something like that. So some of the examples which are there, which you can also check it up from the internet and all, there are a number of companies that already started working and they have achieved some good results, good performances and all that by this data integrations and all that by improving the KPIs and performance and all. Another important thing is the talent acquisition and upscaling. Now, since these are the new areas which are really coming up and you require a new skills and all that. So you have to think about the hybrid roles. No, you have to hire the health data scientists. No, you have to build a upskilling of your some of the existing staff also. You have to also think about the partnerships with the technology educators and all that. Because then you will have educations which are really coming up and on. This is where the role like our company comes up and all that. The last 5 years we are working on to building up those training courses. We already developed those YouTube channel where more than 350 videos are there. We developed a Udemy platform. We developed a podcast. We developed a books and all that. So, entire social ecosystem for training about this new technologies from the pharma industry point of view. That particular platform has been developed and all that. And this is what really you can use it virtually, and you can skill up, you can upskill, you can reskills your team, no, depending upon their expertise, their interest, and their departments or something. You can achieve with that actually. Now, for doing this, you should also have some assessment and vision setting. Now, when I say assessment, see that you have to plan it out the digital maturity audits, to identify the gaps. As I mentioned, there are a number of uh, departments or functions or operations are there, starting from demand planning, operation planning, procurement planning, and all that. So you have to conduct where what gaps are there, whether you want to focus on to demand planning, or you want to focus on to quality improvements, or either you want to manage your inventories or something like that. So that will help you to identify the gaps and capabilities and processes and all that. Once that has been done, then you can define a strategy, and then you define your clear objectives, how and where you want to. Say, suppose I have shown you two example is like enhancing the patient centricity or accelerating drug discovery or something. So those you can think about it, and then you have to go to next step of technology integration around, where you want to integrate with the cloud, with manufacturing execution system, or whether logistic and distribution systems, or using the blockchain for supply chain transparency. So that is where you start discussing, thinking, planning about the technology integration. Now, this is going to be a continuous process. As I mentioned earlier, also, this is not a small one time project. No, it's going to be a continuous process. As you start implementing those particular modules or phases or something, you will get more ideas and all that. So it has to really keep it in a loop and all that. So establish feedback loops with the stakeholders who refine those strategies, monitor the progress, monitor the results which are being achieved, monitor the satisfaction of your employees and skills what they have achieved economy. So that is what really you have to go on doing with. Then you have to think about the challenges and mitigation thereof. So some of the challenges, as you know, pharma industry challenges, of course, the regulatory hurdles are there. A lot of documentations are required. How you will align your digital tools with those evolving standards, you have to think about it. You are working from the analog data system, which are siloed data and all that. How you will move from those silos, breaking down those silos to have an integration is most important thing. And finally, the workforce resistance. It's the skills are have to be taken consideration. So we always say it's a holistic approach which is really required. It's basically people, processes, and technology. So don't consider technology as the important thing. It's the people who are going to run those things. So no, you have to have those change evangelists to promote and do that technology adoptions and all that. So considering all this, now I'm coming to my conclusion is that no, your strategic role allocation is most important thing. It has to start with that and ensure that every team member has got a defined role, which they can play it and all that, and start promoting it and collaboration and efficiencies and all that. Agile governance is more important and facilitate the quick decision making and adopt it to the changing regulatory requirement with those regulatory requirements are also constantly changing. You have to have a phased implementation, so allow the gradual integrations of the new technologies. Don't jump into a big thing. I mentioned earlier also you have to think about the phased manners and all that, which reduces the risk and give you the desired results also. And then you have to see the success stories which other companies have achieved it, and consider them and all that. Now, all these things are also discussed at Udemy platform or at YouTube levels and all also. Some of the things are also discussed in books also. So suggest and request all of you to please have a look at those things also. If you find any scope onto that or further improvement, do share that with us. We will definitely respect your suggestions and try to incorporate it into our future podcasts, future videos, future books, and all also. Thank you. Bye.